Hey, welcome to our weekly class. This is Dr. Ariel Policano. It's my great pleasure to be with you every week. For those who don't know me, I am actually a naturopathic doctor, and I work with people every single day, and I help them with the Genius Insight. I also train people on the Genius. We sell the Genius product on the website, geniusbiofeedback.com. So if you'd like my support, if you'd like me to be involved in your training, if you'd like to be able to reach me directly, do purchase via my website and I can help you with customer service, answering your questions. We have lots of wonderful training packages. That's geniusbiofeedback.com. We're going to get started, so if you'd like to volunteer, and Wendy, if you're on today, let me know in the chat area, and please send me your full name and date of birth. If you'd also like to volunteer, go ahead and send your name and date of birth, and we'll get to as many cases as we can. We do have a very exciting class coming up called the High Vibe Nutrition class, and because I had so many people sign up, I am actually extending the offer for the $247 price, but after today, it will go up to $297. It's available in 3 installments of about $80 a month, so you could click this and get the 3 installments. The reason High Vibe Nutrition would be important, or you would know that you want to take the class, would be if you know someone who wants to prevent cancer in their lives, if you know someone who wants to prevent heart disease, if you know someone who has diabetes, or if you have diabetes, or someone in your family does, that is why you would take this course, because I will be showing you the very best way to protect yourself from heart disease, from diabetes, from cancer, from losing your eyesight later in life, from dementia. And if you enjoy seeing the science, we will be bringing in the science and the research into this. Why am I teaching this class in relation to energy medicine? Because vibration matters. And the vibration of the food affects your body, and the vibration of the Genius affects your body, and they're all very much connected. So if you want to have the highest level of resonance in your being, you want to come to High Vibe Nutrition. It's what I've been studying for the past 2 decades, and I'm giving you the benefit of everything I've learned. And you guys, I've done it all. I've participated in all the different types of nutritional plans, and I've discovered the best one, and I'll show you the science behind it. Even if you have no intention of changing what you consume, you don't want to change your diet or your nutrition whatsoever, please come to this class so you can help the people around you. If you are not familiar with the fact that the science shows that coconut oil and olive oil can all damage the blood vessels, can damage the endothelium, and contribute to heart disease just as much as meat, that consuming coconut oil and olive oil and the other oils can impair your circulation. The video that I posted on YouTube was physically showing how after 4 hours of eating a fatty meal that it impaired blood flow to the eyes. Are you concerned about macular degeneration or cataracts or losing your eyesight? Then you absolutely want to know about this class. What about your kidneys? There's more chronic kidney failure in the United States than ever before. Could it be because people continue to consume higher levels of protein, protein powder, protein, high protein diets at the behest of all of the so-called health gurus? Don't do that to yourself, you guys. Don't ruin your kidneys. Find out why that's important. Save your kidneys. Establish longevity. Age at a much slower pace. Check out this class, and you can go to my blog and read more about the class. You can break it into 3 easy installments of about $80 a month, and I promise you'll be very happy that you came to the class. Those of you who are already registered for the class, and I have had an incredible response to this class, you'll be getting your shopping list and your recipes later on today, so look forward to that. But if you really want to really sink into understanding that food is your best medicine, nutrition comes from food, those who are taking the class will discover that they probably can stop taking the majority of their supplements. And I'll show you why taking supplements like beta carotene, folic acid, and vitamin D, according to the science, may be dangerous for you. That's right, even vitamin D. So if you're concerned about these things, please jump into High Vibe Nutrition because your vibration matters. The vibration you take into your body affects your entire body, whether you're dealing with the genius or you're dealing with food. And the type of food we're talking about is extremely delicious. It's very satiating and satisfying. So please jump into the class. You have one more day to get it at the discounted $247. At midnight Pacific tonight, it will go tick up to the $297 price point. So you've got a few more hours to do that. Okay, I really hope that you join me, and remember to tell people about the Genius Biofeedback website. People can come on to geniusbiofeedback.com. You can sign up for the affiliate program here. You can do the trial right here, and you can send this link for the trial to other people. They can read about what the Genius is and what biofeedback is right on the website. And you guys, we're working really hard to make the website even better, our videos even better, and our demonstrations even better so that people can really get what the Genius is very, very quickly. And if you're one of those people who's on the trial, we can give you a personal demonstration. So go to my website and click on the chat area. And after this webinar, I will be on chat for an entire hour. You can just chat with me right here and I will answer all of your questions. So if you want a personal demonstration, if you want to learn more about the Genius, you can go to my chat. And if you're watching the recording, you can go to the chat anytime. We're going to be getting started and we're going to go to a case, but first we're going to go to a tutorial about the Genius. So you guys, we are really close to having the new version come out. The time has finally come. So we're looking at maybe a week to 10 days out. If you are a longtime user who's confident about using the Genius and you would like to get early access to the new update, send me a message, Ariel at geniusbiofeedback.com. If you're one of our long-term users and you're a confident person using the Genius and you want to get early access and give us feedback about the new version, you want to get it first and start using it now, send me a message, Ariel at geniusbiofeedback.com. There's no charge to do it. We just ask you to give us your best feedback about the Genius, and you too will have access to our new version. So send me a message either via the chat section of my website or Ariel at geniusbiofeedback.com. I want to do a quick tutorial today. Don't know why I can't get this to just do the singular view, but okay. So many of you may not know that there are some juicy extra modules within the Genius. If you're looking at the Genius and you choose something, the one that I typically choose to demonstrate to people is today's stress. And if we bring up today's stress and we see a number of things, emotional issues, heavy metal toxicity, stress to the kidneys, pathogens, and we look below because reds and blues are significant. So acidity, environmental stuff, hormonal, immune, cardiovascular, fungus, got a whole collection here. What I wanted to show you today is something called the response assessment. The response assessment. Is this something that you've ever used? You can let me know over in the chat area. Have you ever used the response assessment? Let me know. What we're going to do is we're going to bring this screen into the response assessment by going to the extra modules, and we're going to go to synergistics, And synergistics, wow, it is early. We're going to go to response assessment. Let's try that again. And what we want to do here is we want to ask, is there a remedy or an action or an activity that we could do that we would like to introduce into the field? So what would be kind of an overall remedy that might help everything here? And we can kind of think about it, think about what we know about herbal medicine. And so let's first try an adaptogen. So let's try Siberian ginseng, because an adaptogen can help us to adapt to stressful situations. It can make us more resilient in the face of stress, and it can also help to modulate or improve the immune system. So let's go ahead and let's put in the Siberian ginseng, and then we'll tap on the pieces of information that we want to know more about. In other words, we want to know, when we introduce Siberian ginseng into the mix, how will we be affected? So how will emotions be affected? How will heavy metal toxicity be affected? How will kidneys be affected? And then we go down here and we tap all of these items. Now, you guys, nothing in the Genius is diagnostic. This is all energetic information, and you could take today's session as being pretty much for research and educational purposes only. So just keep that in mind, and keep that in mind when you're sharing it with your clients, that we want to remind them this is energetic information. However, they may find a close correlation with their physical body, as I often do when I'm working with people. So now what we do is we tap the begin analysis. Tap begin analysis, and you'll see the line move up and down as it asks the question, what will happen when I introduce Siberian ginseng into my field? When I introduce Siberian ginseng into my field, it will have certain effects. Now it will populate a result on the right side of the screen, and we'll have our original result on the left side of the screen. Now, these arrows, I believe, are eliminated in the new version because they don't really tell anything significant, in my opinion, about the story. It says Siberian ginseng would move us from 757, which is a highly kind of emotionally distressed state, and it moves us into 399, a balanced state. So interestingly enough, Siberian ginseng is a good remedy for your emotional state, probably because it kind of buoys you up and makes you more resilient in the face of stressful situations. It doesn't have a lot of effect on heavy metal toxicity. It's almost saying it's sort of putting it in a reverse direction. I would calculate that and just put that to me, that it's really not having a significant effect. It does move the kidneys from 678, a stressed state, to 428, a balanced or harmonized state. So Siberian ginseng, surprisingly, is good for the kidneys. Now, this doesn't make so much sense in a Western medicine concept, but it makes a lot of sense in a Chinese medicine concept, where we're talking about the Jing energy of the kidneys. The Jing energy is your life force energy. And the more that you kind of abuse your body, stay up too late at night, experience too much emotional stress, eat the foods that don't support the physical body, the more the kidney Jing becomes depleted. So what I get from this, moving from 678 to 428, is that we're moving the energy in a very positive direction. We're supporting and nourishing the kidney Jing energy. We also see, interestingly enough, it moves us from pathogens of 663 to 242, which is also a balanced state. So this tells us that when we bring Siberian ginseng into the mix, it has a positive impact on the immune system. We can also see that blood sugar has moved from 621 to 361. That's an excellent movement, positive movement. And again, because we're moving from stressed over 600 to balanced. And again, it says Siberian ginseng is an adaptogen that helps us to feel less stressed when we're faced with things that could stress us out. We're more cool, calm, and collected, and that the blood sugar remains balanced because your blood sugar can be influenced by the ups and downs of cortisol. So it says you're more cool, calm, and collected. Your epinephrine, your norepinephrine, your cortisol is more regulated, and so we're moving into a place of balance. We can go down here. It doesn't have a huge amount of impact on acidity. It moves it a little bit from a very stressed state to a less stressed state, but still, I would almost say these are equal. Environmental toxicity, we're more resilient. It seems like the adaptogen is having a physical effect in adapting to the current environment, not just an emotional effect. So that's good. Hormones are very positively impacted, moving from an 88, a very depleted and stagnation place, to a place of wonderful balance. This is a good number to move to. Anything between 200 and 600 would be good. So you get the idea. We could do one more. So if we move to response assessment and we moved out of it and then we went back into it, let's try something like ashwagandha. And then we do the begin analysis. So, okay, I made a mistake. We have to select the items. So we have to reselect the same items. And then we tap begin analysis. All right. And let's see what happens here. Okay, so just glancing at your questions, you guys. Okay, so let's go the emotional. It really isn't making a difference emotionally because you've moved from one stressed state to the next. Heavy metal toxicity, it almost makes it worse. It kind of has an impact on the kidneys. It has a pretty good impact on pathogens. It has a pretty good impact on blood sugar. So wow, that's really interesting, you guys. The Siberian ginseng looks like it was far superior for this particular individual versus the ashwagandha. And if you're a practitioner, you might just have gone eeny, meeny, miny, mo, taking them off the shelf because they're similar. They're adaptogens. They can support the immune system. But when you look at this, the comparison is significantly better for the Siberian ginseng for this particular screen. Let's look at the bottom. Kind of the same, really similar effects in some ways. The only difference it made here is that it didn't give a result for cardiovascular, which looks like either maybe I didn't check it properly. That could have happened because I was working really quickly. But anyway, the one difference between ashwagandha and Siberian ginseng is it had a profound impact on the immune system in particular. So I find this interesting. It tells me the Siberian ginseng is sort of better overall for everything that we tested for, but the ashwagandha had a little bit of a leg up just in terms of the total immune system. So that's the response assessment. I hope that's helpful, and we'll try to do more tutorials in the beginning of class. So now let's see if we've got the okay, Wendy, send me your information, Wendy, so that I can put you in here and we can have you as a volunteer for the class, okay? So go ahead and put your information down below. Let's actually talk to Jerry W, so Jerry with a J. Let's go ahead and put you in here, Jerry, and go ahead and put down in the chat section if you've gotten the Genius already. This class is open to all, so you do not have to have the Genius in order to get a scan. You can come to class, you can invite all of your prospects to the class. If you have a prospect, somebody who's super interested in the Genius, you can email me before the class. We go ahead, Jerry, I'll just going to block this out for a second so we don't see the date of birth. Okay, so you can email me in advance and tell me that this person is new to the Genius and would like a scan, and we'll work on them in class, and they can come to class and see themselves being worked on. So we want to make this as open and available as possible, and everybody who joins us is welcome to have a personal demonstration as well. So we want to get people as educated as possible and really experience the Genius for themselves. Now, Jerry, you may or may not have a microphone available on your device, so let's give it a try. If not, we'll just go with what we've got. And let's go ahead. Jerry, we're gonna unmute you, so it means we're gonna hear you. And let's just see if we can get your voice recording. Okay, Jerry, try to unmute yourself on your device. Okay, that looks like it's not going to happen. So let's see what we got here.
Did that work?
Oh, yes, it
Ariel,
did.
did that work?
How wonderful.
Okay, great.
Sometimes you just got to hang in there. Well, Jerry, how are you today?
Pretty good. And you?
Doing well. So do you have the Genius system yet?
No, I don't. I have a friend who has one, and I've had one scan from her.
That is totally fine. Well, I warmly welcome you to the class. Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
What would you like us to work on with regard to your energy field, health, manifestation? What should we focus on for you?
Health and manifestation and some releasing some negative energy.
Well, that's always a good thing. Do you want to elaborate and tell us more about how it might be impacting your physical body, if you're in pain? Just tell us a
Yeah,
little bit more that you can share with us.
I've had a lot of right foot pain.
Mm-hmm.
Manifested just sort of, I didn't really sprain my ankle or anything. And that's been since December.
Okay.
And then I've got, I think it's around T3, T4 that I've got some pain. I didn't really do anything there. It's kind of resolved with some of the things that I've been working on, but it's still kind of lingering there.
I see. Okay. And what do you think is the cause of the pain?
I think it's structural and emotional.
Okay. And do you do this work as a healer or just something you'd like to have for yourself or your family?
Both.
Okay. And are you a healer by trade?
Yes.
Oh, that's wonderful. What kind of healing work do you do?
I'm a licensed acupuncturist, massage therapist, esthetician, energy worker.
Oh my gosh, you do the whole thing. You're the full
Well,
meal deal.
overachiever maybe.
That's wonderful. We have a lot of acupuncturists and massage
Yes.
therapists in our biofeedback community.
Yes.
That's great. Well, let's go ahead and record your voice. I'll have you say your name. This is being recorded, so if you want to just say your first name, that'd be totally fine. And then you can keep repeating A-E-I-O-U. And you could also say an affirmation like, all my cells are healthy and I'm filled with radiant health and I'm pain-free, something to that effect. I'll count you down here and I'll start recording in 3, 2, 1. I'm recording.
Jerry, AEIOU. My cells are filled with light, healing, blessings. I am pain free. I feel energetic. I feel emotionally stable and balanced. And I am free of pain.
Oh, that's awesome. That is absolutely awesome. Well, you have a natural understanding of all of this, so I'm so glad that you joined us today.
Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm going to work on you, and then we'll come back and talk to you in a little bit, okay?
Okay.
Fun, fun, fun. I absolutely love it. Okay, so let's go ahead and give this some harmonizing. And so she said a lot of structural stuff. She's got a lot of structural stuff going on. So we'll see what we see here. I'm going to turn this down a little bit. Let's see how that works. All right, that's much better. So first thing that we do, as always, is we're going to go to the aura. Let's go ahead and take a look at the aura and get a reading on that and see what's going on with Jerry's aura this morning or early this afternoon, depending on where you're joining us from. Thank you so much for being here. Really, really wonderful. All right, so let's get a view of the aura and see what's happening. Let's take a picture of it here. Now, this looks very interesting. What I see, and I know I talk about it a lot, but it's very, very common, is I do see this digestive liver color in the central part. And I think I do talk to so many people who we could use a digestive upgrade, and it's springtime. So this is a natural time for liver cleansing and digestive cleansing, no matter what kind of diet, even if you have the best nutrition. You know, from winter to spring was a time when there typically wasn't a lot of food available. It was sort of that bridge time. So naturally eating a little bit less or juicing, it's a natural time for that. At least taking a little bit of dandelion would all be a great thing. Now, this kind of dark gray, fleshy stuff going on here, it looks like it's moving out of the field. So she may have been doing some work on herself. But this is definitely stagnation. This is definitely pain and some type of physical thing going on here. There's also, these are kind of muddied or muddled tones in here. So we'd like to see them be crisper and clearer. So I would say that this is a good starting point where we'd like to see this, the lower colors and the more kind of gray complected colors move out of the field. And there's also, you can see all of this going on in the third chakra. So this is digestive distress and liver distress typically. Let's move into looking up and down, just to see what's coming up. We've got some brain anatomy stuff showing up, brain EEG. So there's definitely a brain element to this, which is interesting, that we'd want to consider. There is a lot of depletion and stagnation as evidenced by the meridians. By the way, you guys, it's totally fine to take the entire meridian and put it down into the lower tray or the upper tray, but I do enjoy the specificity of going into the meridians because biofeedback is about matching the person where they're at. And the more specific the match, the more lasered in you are on where they are, the more productive the biofeedback vibration will be, because you're looking for their perfect simillimum. You're looking for their perfect energetic match. And the meridians are rather general. Spleen is more specific. The spleen meridian is related to, in the Western culture, being in a cold, damp environment. For example, everybody wants to live close to the ocean, right? Every beach property and so forth. However, living very close to the ocean for long periods of time, you expose yourself to a lot of dampness. So that can be really aggravating. Cold and damp are the hardest environments for people to live in according to the principles of Chinese medicine. We can see the bladder meridian. And you guys, I'm not as expert as Jerry probably is in her meridian, so she probably knows much more about this, and we could bring her back on and talk to her in a little bit. But triple heater and conception are two other ones that are out of balance, so we'd want to include those. But just the overall picture of more stagnation, need for movement, need for moving the energy. We can go into the individual meridian and tap on that and get even more laser focused by including some of the points that come up. Now, we did see jaundice. I'm sure she's not jaundiced, but it tells us a little bit about maybe the liver stress aspect of this. So spleen 9, spleen 3, spleen 6, a lot of spleen meridians that would be beneficial to include. Okay, So let's just include all of these, and then when we go to progressive insights, we'll find out which of these is the most important, and we can laser focus in on that energy. So now let's look at the spinal energy. Since she mentioned the physical pain, let's go ahead and take a look at that. Okay, now look how low the spinal energy is. That totally meshes with what she said. She's got T3 and T4. It may not be exactly T3 and T4 that comes up, but it kind of matches the pattern. In biofeedback, you're looking at the patterns. You're trying to read the overall picture. We don't want to take everything in the program so literally. You want to interpret and tease out that information. So we do see C7, lower neck, T10, mid-back, T8, and let's include these as well. We're energetic directors. We don't have to get the diagnosis right. That's not what we do as biofeedback practitioners. We're movers, shifters, and shakers of the energy in a positive way. So what our ability to do is to send energy to C1, C2, C5, and there's something going on with the neck for sure. Okay, so whatever it might be, and we definitely see this predilection of the cervicals and the thoracics. We could also go to bone anatomy and include the bones of the foot. So if we go into the libraries, and for those of you who have the separate bone anatomy panel, you can go right to the particular area of bones that you want to deal with. So we need to wait just a second for this to switch. So now we can have the bone anatomy in the foot, and let's go ahead and include anything from this that comes up. The navicular bone in the right foot, the cuneiform in the left, the second cuneiform in the right. I don't have a good picture for you guys of the foot anatomy right now, but those are the bones called the tarsal bones of the foot. So the bones that make up the majority of what's in the main part of the foot. The metatarsals are like the fingers of the feet. So if you think of the corollary for your fingers in the feet, that's the metatarsals. And so second metatarsal left, calcaneus left. I know you might say, well, her injury or her issue is with the right foot. But what happens when the right foot gets injured is the left foot needs to compensate. So fifth metatarsal, this would be like the pinky finger of the foot, the smallest one. The cuboid on the right side, this is another tarsal bone. And so you can include all of these. This would be really good to put all of this energy in. And we definitely see something in general going on with the feet. So that's really interesting. Now, feet. What do you think about when you think about feet? Being grounded. Let's go ahead and see if there's any first chakra issue. Another thing that you could look at is spiritual protection and see if grounding comes up. Well, there is that root chakra, but also the crown chakra, interestingly enough. So more meditation, more mindfulness. Root chakra is the grounding that we need. Solar chakra is the third chakra, and I think that's where that digestive stuff is going on with liver digestion. So we can also look under spiritual protection. Let's see if grounding comes up. Grounding is going to be related to the feet having something going on there. We don't see it really necessarily, and actually the spiritual protection looks pretty good, just need some auric protection in here. So again, we just want to look at the relationships, the connections, what kinds of things can we see here. Now let's go ahead, we're going to include the solfeggios, and I did see the flower essences came up big time for her, 127. Let's go ahead and include our flower essences. And whoa, we've got a lot of flower essences that want to come and play with her and hang out with her. So let's include all of these and then bring them down into the progressive insights. So she mostly said she thinks the root cause is some type of emotional issue or structural issue. See if we can get some juice back in here. I think that started to charge it. Okay, but she's got a lot of wonderful flower essence energies that want to come and play with her. Now, when you have all of these flower essences, you want to say which one is the most important in relation to this person. That's why we include so many and we put them into progressive insights so we can figure it out in progressive insights. Now, one thing I want to remind everyone of is you can also tap on System Overview and go to General Overview, which gives you the ability to scan the entire matrix. And occasionally I like to look at this and just see, is there anything kind of out of the ordinary? Is there anything kind of interesting that might call to me? So what's fascinating here is out of everything, every single frequency, which is over 500 frequencies in the main part of the matrix, is that iodine came up. So let's give her the energy of iodine. This could be for the immune system. This could be for the thyroid. This could even be for the healthy breast tissue. And let's just see if there's anything else. Cayenne is kind of an interesting one. Again, this would be for increasing circulation in the body. That spleen meridian came up high, aspartic acid and amino acid. Interesting, mold has been really a very hot topic that I've been talking to people about today and this week. It's interesting that it comes up here. The kidney meridian, this particular kidney 8 point, comes up very, very high. You can tap this one more time and it'll go to the lowest items. So we can see L4, interesting, that's kind of a wild card there. The pineal gland. Let's see if there's anything else. The digestive system in general that I talked about. Okay, so wow, that brain anatomy is real significant. The energy of disgust. So she might be holding on some type of a resentment or just feeling, unhappy with something in her life, just causing her to feel disgust. Let's see if there's anything else that kind of calls to us. In general, the solfeggio tones, which we're going to run in a moment, there's that stomach, so it tells us definitely the digestive piece is important. Now, what's really fascinating is this epinephrine at 29 came from two different parts of the program. It came from the neurotransmitters where epinephrine is, but the same resonance was picked up in body hormones epinephrine and given the exact same score, which is really fascinating. So this epinephrine is the more modern termed name for adrenaline. So when you drink a cup of coffee or you are really stressed out about something or you're driving on the freeway and somebody hits their brakes and you have to hit your brakes really fast, your body floods with epinephrine. So this appears to represent, some type of stress experience. So this is a wonderful way to get some additional information because the ones that are at the ends are the highest prioritization for the energy field. They're saying these are really up for me today. And so this is a great way to kind of sift through this and see if anything jumps out at you. What you want to look at is how is it related to everything else that you're looking at. So when something jumps out at you, here's a great one, which is the solfeggio tone 417. 417 is to clear the effects of traumatic experiences and the pain or cellular memory of past events when it is limiting you in the present. 417 is known as the frequency that puts you in touch with the infinite energy within you. So that one came up at a very high level of priority or attraction to her energy field. So we just sift through this. Is there anything else that for you as a practitioner catches your attention and then you can include it? I like this one about contempt and disgust. You see these kind of sharp, almost acerbic kind of emotions coming up there. Oops, kind of grab that. So let's go back to the progressive insights. We're going to harmonize for a minute and then we'll add in some more solfeggios depending on the ones that came up for her in the actual panel. So let's go ahead and find out of all of these frequencies, which are at the highest level of priority to the energy field at this moment. So we don't pay too much attention to these left checks over here. We pay all attention to these prioritizations on the right. And we want to gain a new level of awareness from looking at these high items. For example, agrimony. So agrimony, out of 65 energies, came up at the highest level. Agrimony is overcoming a tendency to hold back on sadness and to put on a happy face. So if that's something that she resonates with, this would give her the ability to just feel more comfortable being more authentic and breathing into herself no matter what her state is, happy, sad, angry, whatever. She's more comfortable in that state. There's the grounding that we talked about in the root chakra, which would really help with the foot issue, being more grounded. And the spleen, we see the spleen energy, and then aspen is another flower essence, triumphing over the fear of unknown things. So vague, unknown fears for which there can be given no explanation, no reason. It's a terror that something awful is going to happen, even though it's unclear exactly. And if you grew up in a traumatic household where things were uncertain, and you weren't really sure whether it was emotional abuse or some other type of abuse or just general chaos, when things become aligned or more regular in your daily life as an adult, you can sometimes feel uneasy because your default as a child was the chaotic state. So this is clearing some of those fears. Oh my God, everything is so grounded and so regulated, and I've earned so much stability in my life, but there's a vague fear of, oh my gosh, is everything really okay? So that aspen could relate to that. I'm checking a lot of items because we did a lot of items. The L4 comes up, contempt, that sort of sharp emotion, thoracic 8, and 417, which is clearing out that cellular trauma. Let's harmonize that for 1 minute and see where she's at. You don't always have to do a minute, especially if you're working on yourself and you want to do other things. But if you're a practitioner, 1 minute gives you the most precision, so you can get feedback as to how your work is impacting the person. And so you really get that instantaneous, tell me how I'm doing, tell me how the person is responding. And so you instantly get that kind of very, very helpful information. So I do think she's right that the structural issue or this pain in the foot and pain in the back is related to emotions. And she begins to clear out some of these emotions, like with these flower essences, she could substantially see the pain reduce. And you can see the connection to the cellular trauma, to the past. And we need to clear those as well in order to be successful for healing and clearing the physical body. Now, she did respond very, very well. We're at 35%. We kind of like to see 40. Let's see if we can go to 40% here. Okay, and Bonnie is here. Bonnie, hi. Thank you so much. And it looks like, Jerry, you're friends with Bonnie, and that's one of the greatest people to be friends with. She's so knowledgeable, and I'm just so grateful that she invited you to the class, and we warmly welcome you to the class. All right, so Cindy, let's go back to your comment. Can you register for the class without having a Genius device? Yes, you can. Please invite your friends. This is going to relate to everything that has to do with nutrition. And even though we're going to sidebar in some discussions about the Genius, it's more that it's preparing you to have a very coherent vibration, even separate from using the Genius. So we are not using the Genius in class except to refer to a panel that people can test themselves on. Cindy, that's a great question. I hope you will join us. We warmly welcome you and invite other people. If you have family members who have heart disease, if you have family members who have diabetes, please warmly welcome this class. I guarantee it will be life-changing. And if you have not seen the video, there's a great video on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, where I talk about the class and do a very detailed introduction to what you can expect from the class. Okay, well, this stuff is really hitting home for Jerry, because she went even lower. So a lot of this stuff is working at a deep subconscious level for her and really, really ringing some bells for her. So we want to do one more harmonizing here. So we had a question from Lynn. If I take an adaptogen blend, would I need to put each item or can I put the blend name? Very good question, Lynn. You can put the blend name. That would be perfectly fine and it will work very, very well. Be as detailed as you can about the blend. And you may even want to say the blend that includes and then write the 3 herbs in there. That's a really good question. Wouldn't the heavy metal toxicity level mean it decreases toxicity to 47? Diana, that's a very good question, but a lower score means that it actually got worse. So maybe it means that it mobilized the heavy metal toxicity from the fat tissue to the blood. But a movement to 47 is actually not a good movement. When you move into something lower, it means it's getting worse. So we're at 41%. She responded very, very well. Her system kind of got it. Got it. All right. I know it now. I know this. I get it. I resonate with it. I process it. Those are all things that are happening when we move to a good level of rectification. So Jerry's energy field has been drinking in these frequencies, receiving them and processing them in the time that we've been working on her, a total of 3 minutes of energetic work with the Genius Biofeedback frequencies. And there's a tremendous amount that's going on. You know, what really is fascinating to me is the consistency of these aura pictures where you'll see something in the field, whether it be here or here, and you see a progression of it. I did a demonstration over the weekend and it was so interesting. Let's go ahead and look at that. We started here, and this is somebody who works a lot with energy, and look at the interesting energy going on up here. So this was more digestive healing and trying to remember what else was going on with this case, but I just thought it was fascinating that we had this up here in the head and neck area, and then we moved into here, and you could see it moving out of the field, and then this was a progression as well, and then we had this moving in, and then we moved to here. But here's the sort of this moving back into the field in the same place. It's sort of like peeling the layer of an onion. So if we look here, it kind of moved out. There it is. And then it kind of came back in something in a very, very similar way. Trying to remember the details of this demonstration. So this was someone dealing with a lot of emotional stuff, mostly on the emotional plane, trying to be, interestingly enough, also trying to be more grounded. But I always find that interesting that you see those similar things in your testing. So anyway, we started here, kind of in a similar location there. And there's a lot of opening in the awareness. There's a lot of opening in the head area. There's a lot of opening in the neck area. So I think this is probably the neck stuff that is starting to release. Now she did have she reported T3, T4, and she reported foot stuff, but we did see an awful lot of cervical stuff come up for her. There's still some stagnation and physical stuff up in this part of the field and down in this part of the field. It looks like the digestive stuff is clearing up very, very nicely. Now I did want to go to the solfeggios, so I wanted to go here. And then we go to solfeggio tones. I'm working on those desk reference cards, you guys. I'm so excited about this project because you'll have cards right on your desk that you can look at, these laminated cards, very, very easy to look at the solfeggios in an instant. So we're going to have a full desk set for the whole program that you're using. I think you'll find it really, really easy to communicate about the program in a much easier way, a much faster way. So I love 285 for any physical pain, right? You guys who've been with me for a while, you know I talk about 285, any physical ailment, any bodily healing that you're doing. This frequency helps to return tissue to its original form. 285 influences energy fields, sending them a message to restructure damaged organs. Restructure damaged organs. Well, that's going to go for bones as well. And then down here, we already talked about 417. We had included it, and now 963. So 963, this frequency enhances the experience of connecting to your own perfection. It can also be thought of as a return to oneness. To feel more spiritually connected, consider running this frequency. So returning to your own perfection means your body is a self-organizing system. When you return to perfection, that's a place where you don't hold onto any disease state. Your body returns to its perfect resonances. So your liver resonates at a certain frequency, your spine resonates at a certain frequency. So returning to your own perfection means full body healing. 639 is really about relationships. So if there's any relationship issue, it's used for balancing and reconnecting relationships. And it's really important in healing diseases, but specifically cancer will actually benefit from 639. And it's because it enhances the energy of tolerance, like self-tolerance and love, but also because it increases communication, especially person-to-person communication, but also cell-to-cell communication, because it's about relationships, and relationships are all about communication. This frequency can be used to increase cell-to-cell communication. So I love that. Now, 174 is very interesting for this case in general, and we're including it because it's below 200. So if you look at anything below 200, those things are always significant, even though from a color scheme, they will be in green. But you should still include anything under 200 or over 600. So when we look at that, this frequency is helpful for pain reduction and for enhancing a sense of comfort. This frequency gives your organs a sense of security, safety, and love. So that's a wonderful one to include. So let's rescan everything. So now the conception vessel comes up, and that really is about giving your body more nourishment. I think about it as being related to hormones. So really more meditation, more contemplation, really getting in nourishing herbs that help to build the chi, that help to support the kidney yin energy, I think could be very helpful. Let's go to find out more about pine. Pine is about releasing guilt, especially when you're blaming yourself. So for those who blame themselves, even when successful, they think they could have done better and are never satisfied with the decisions that they make. They even ask themselves, would this remedy actually help me? So this is really, really good for just releasing, all of life is a series of working through any type of, you could expect to make a mistake every day with the choices that we make. Mistakes are just part of the learning process, and they're part of the wonderful journey, how we learn on this earth. Oh, I did it this time this way. I could do it better next time. The whole point is to learn from the past. Now, speaking of that, which is really interesting, it's funny that pine is followed by Serato. Serato is gaining confidence and trust in one's own decisions. So Serato is about feeling confident. If you clear out that guilt from the past about making a mistake, then it's going to be you're going to be a lot more confident that, hey, decisions come and go, and I'm making the best decision with the information that I know at this time. So, and then the last one is century. So century is when you've been giving a lot of energy to other people, and it's time for you to nourish yourself. So, feet is all about, stepping out into new things. So this is kind of an interesting, like you might be stepping out with a new energy and a new way of being where you're going to put yourself first. Okay, Jerry, let's see how this has been landing with you as we've been working on you and get some feedback from you. So I'm going to unmute you again. And hopefully we'll be able to hear from Jerry in just a second. We're waiting for the microphone to become unmuted if she's still with us, and then we can look at some other comments as well. All right. So Sherry talks about the floral acupoint panel. Yes, I think next week, Sherry, I'll bring that panel in more specifically. And thank you so much for mentioning it. I appreciate it. I want to demonstrate that one more. I think we've lost Jerry a bit over the side there, maybe doing other things or talking about her results there. So this one is going real deep for her. And she's at 16%. So that means she's moving through it like mud, moving through it very slowly, which means it holds a lot of positive energy. Now, Alex says, and Alex A, thank you so much for being here. If you'd like to talk more, chat, connect with me, feel free to hit my chat after the class or send me an email if there are any questions I can answer for you. Thanks for being here. And Alex says, how come we haven't used the upper box quick zap, which is such a great question. When I want to balance just a few things and I'm super sure that those things are a priority for the person, then I will use the quick zap with just a few things to evoke a fast change. But when I want to ask about many things that have very, very different topics related to them, like the spine, emotions, bones, solfeggios, what I want to do is gather them up into the main whole tray, bring them into progressive insights. The purpose of progressive insights is to ask a greater question, which is which of all of these topics is it's another test really, it's a retest, is of the greatest priority to the energy field. The purpose of this is really incredible and you should totally take advantage of it. It's to bring you a new level of awareness within the case, because if you can find the root cause or the highest level of priority, it gives you more information about what that person is trying to work through. So the highest level of priority is about this guilt issue, something that she's feeling guilty about, trying to work through it, trying to get more confidence and a toehold on her own decision-making process. And so, you know, that really, if she takes care of those emotional issues and she gets the energy from the genius to kind of open up those energies, like her foot is going to heal, her spine is going to heal, everything's going to get better faster, because we're on this planet, which is a school, you're in class right now, and it's like, what is this lesson that you're trying to learn? The genius gives you more of a clue, more information about that, what you are truly trying to accomplish. And once you get that, even just your raised level of awareness will bring you to a new place, not to mention the actual frequencies themselves. So that's the whole goal here, is we want to get those frequencies, but we're not automatons that just tap a bunch of buttons, boom, 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 I am robotic, you know, get my frequency. We don't just want any frequency. We want the very specific frequency that we need now at this moment, because when we get that frequency, change happens very, very quickly. Change happens in a minute. Change happens in 3 minutes. So you don't have to use your entire day working on the genius 12 hours a day, kind of still scratching your head and wondering if you're pushing the right buttons. The genius figures it out for you when you understand how to use it. If you want more training, please go to my website, geniusbiofeedback.com. A lot of our packages include training, or you can get our mastery training bundle a la carte. Okay, so things are looking absolutely beautiful now. They're looking so great for Jerry. They're looking really, really good. We're seeing some more symmetry in the field, and we're bringing in some higher vibrational colors, some pinks, some orange. So we're seeing a real active physical healing in that orange second chakra. Also more creative expression. Second chakra is about sexuality, creative expression, a lot of that orange energy moving into the field. And some of that digestive kind of bitter, contempt, disgust, bile, the bilious energy moving out. And then some beautiful emerald energy here. There's still some work to be done here and here. When you get to the end of your session, to go back to Alex's question, you can give the person an energetic hug by using just the nogies or using just the solfeggios. Any of the coherent frequencies are really good for this. So now we could put the completing the circle, the repair of the tissue up into the tray, and also reducing the pain, connecting with the most divine part of yourself, healing relationships. I'm sorry, this one is the pain reduction. The other one was healing trauma, healing emotional trauma. So now we do this, but we want to change the timer, and we want to put this to 1 minute. The purpose is that we'd like to see some of the very high vibrational colors, the purples, the blues, move into the field. And what it does is it sort of finishes off this particular session for the person. It leaves them, you're sort of like closing off the energy in a very, very wonderful and positive way. I often talk about it as being the shavasana, the last pose of the yoga postures that kind of brings everything together. So if you're at a natural healing, a natural ending point, then it's good to bring in just the solfeggios at the end. Wilma says, how did you go from the system overview to the progressive insight? And hey, Wilma, so great to have you. Wilma from checking in from Los Angeles. Thank you so much for being here. And if you ever want training or any like individual training, or you want to do any of that, you can always hit me up on my website. Go to geniusbiofeedback.com or just send me an email. And of course, you know a lot about the Genius already, but to answer your question, you just tap here at the lower right, and that button here, after you've gathered things up in the main hold tray, will take you into the progressive insights. Let's just get plugged in here. I think that's much better. Okay, so yeah, so she went to right to 56% rectification. You still have me muted. Okay, yeah, Jerry, I tried to unmute you, but then you weren't there, so I don't know what happened. But let's try to unmute you again. Here we go. All right, so I'm unmuting you, and then you'll have to unmute yourself. I think maybe your computer is just a little bit slow, so it takes a little while longer. All right, so let's leave you open there, and as you can jump on as your computer allows you to, we'll see if that happens. Okay, so that was really, really good question. Yeah, I can hear you now. So Jerry, how did this information land with you?
Oh, pretty right on.
Okay, cool.
The flower essence, that was very interesting. I was getting crabapple, which that didn't come up. So I'm glad I didn't go buy it.
Yeah, and you don't need to buy these essences. You can if you want to. Oh, it's like a beautiful kind of ending. You're really opening up to your higher self, bringing in divine energy, really going to town and working on healing yourself, working on healing your energy field, that emotional body. It's looking really, really good. This is excellent. You don't ever need to get the flower essences themselves, although there might be one that comes up again and again that you might want to avail yourself to, but it's really about exposing yourself to those energetics. And it's also a learning process, because Dr. Edward Bach, he sometimes gave 3 different flower essences 3 times a day. So he would give like 9 flower essences in order to evoke a physical change. That would be for somebody who has something acute, like the flu or something. So these are things you can move through very, very quickly, and you probably don't want to go to the store 38 times and have to buy 38 different flower essences. So the energies of the Genius are enough to get you through this. And they may change. And when you're looking at yourself, you may see something different than when somebody looks at you, because it'll be all of their energy in the field. So when I'm objectively looking at you, may be different as when you are doing the session on yourself.
Great.
Okay, yeah, so Jerry, let's you and I reconnect later today and just sort of give you some more information about what we discovered today and answer any of your questions.
That would be wonderful.
Okay, well, I really look forward to it. Make sure you shoot me an email or a chat message, Ariel at geniusbiofeedback.com, or on my website, geniusbiofeedback.com, so we can connect.
Okay, that sounds great. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much. That was really a wonderful case, and look at what a beautiful, beautiful ending aura. So, so great. I even feel better just looking at this. So remember to get registered. Last call for the nutrition class at 247 versus 297, you guys. Please do join in for that class. If you know anyone suffering from any kind of a chronic illness, you'll definitely want to learn more about this, even if you have no desire or interest to change anything in your nutrition. Learn about this for other people. There's so much misinformation out there, and I've done the research for you. If you ever look at the research online, Dr. Mercola, Dr. Axe, Dr. Mark Hyman, all these folks, and you just go, gosh, I'm so confused. They all seem to say opposing things. If you'd like to get unconfused and look at the science and learn about what really heals heart disease, diabetes, chronic pain, osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, come to the class, because it will affect a lot of things that you're thinking about in biofeedback as you do your testing with the Genius. If you want to talk to me, or if you want a personalized demonstration of the Genius, or if there's anything you need to check in with me about, if you're a current user and you have questions, just shoot me up a message here on this website, geniusbiofeedback.com. You can go to the contact us, or you can send me a message, Ariel at geniusbiofeedback.com. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed day and week filled with lots and lots of abundance and fun. I will see you back here next week. And very shortly, I'll get the recording of this loaded up to the website under the blog section. Under the blog section, we have articles, and we also have the most recent videos that I've done on the Genius. So they're all at geniusbiofeedback.com. Have a great day, everyone. Take care and be well. Bye-bye for now.